So I've had a lot of interest from folks, particularly young women, who are asking questions about flirting in the workplace. Is that toxic if your boss is flirting with you? Yeah, there's legal definitions and all of that. And I'm not an attorney, so I'm not going to get into that, but I'll tell you what I think. When someone is harassing you, be it in whatever form, because of your sexuality, because of your gender, because of how you look, whatever it is, oh, because you choose to wear blue hair, whatever it is, that becomes toxic. When you're in a situation where there's flirting and you are as attracted, or maybe at least somewhat attracted to the other person, that they are attracted to you and making that known, oof, that's dangerous gray space, right? Because we all know that bosses should not be flirting or engaging romantically or intimately with their subordinates, because then the subordinate feels obligated in order to get a promotion or get whatever. They have to perform maybe intimate acts that they're not really into. But then there's this whole gray space where what if, well, I kind of like him or her, and you're thinking, well, okay. And so you tolerate it and you get a little flirty too. You get that nice little side look, that glance that's just special for you. You get the other wink. Hey, good morning, Laura Lynn. How are you? And you're thinking, and you just put that little extra effort into how you dress and you stand a little bit differently in his or her presence. And you're thinking, wow, I'm like, okay, this could go somewhere. But that's gray space. You are not making your boundaries clear. You are inviting further engagement because you're not shutting it down. If that behavior is something that you want to indulge in, maybe you're even going to risk your company policy, which explicitly states no intimate relationships with your coworkers, you're on thin ice. You might lose your job or things might go south. It's not always he said, she said, right? And who it comes down to, you could very well be setting yourself up for high risk. Maybe you indulged and engaged. And then we'll use the example that he, as your boss, went forward and said, no, she was the aggressor. She pursued me. Then what do you do? So when this kind of stuff happens and you're starting to see this thing going on, you need to set a very clear boundary. On the first time that it happens, maybe it's that look, that little something suggestive. Oh, yeah, well, we could have fun with that later tonight, right? That kind of thing. Woo, dangerous space. Draw the line. Have a private conversation with them immediately after it happens and say, okay, I know there's a little funny stuff and we're both professionals here. Let's keep that line on the professional side of things. I don't have any interest in a personal relationship. I want to abide by our company policy, and that's that. Hopefully, it shuts it down. But if it happens again, have that conversation one more time, again privately, but very firmly this time. Say, I explained this to you last time. There is a boundary. I am setting it now. I want to make it very clear, explicitly clear. I cannot and will not and do not plan to engage in anything other than professional and collaborative relationship with you here at work. Do you understand? Hopefully that's enough. And if you get the nod that they understand, finish the conversation with, if it happens a third time, I am going to report you to HR. And then, of course, third strike law, right? If they do it again, go to HR. You've made it very clear, you've been tolerant, and you have set the line that there are consequences if they continue the unwanted behavior. Now, what about if you see flirting in the workplace and you see one or two of your coworkers kind of getting cozy and getting cute and all of that sort of stuff? Take a look at your company policy. Is there a policy that says coworkers should not be engaged romantically? If there is, now it's not up to you to be the policy police and enforcing it, but watch carefully, see what happens. Was it a one-time thing? Is it something that's ongoing? And then you need to decide to take action. Do not confront the coworker and say, I saw that. You were flirting with whomever it is. Because then you are going to set yourself up for retaliation. And I know so many policies, everything say, oh, there's no repercussions. Retaliation is not allowed. It's completely prohibited, but that's BS. We've all seen it. The person that's the whistleblower, ultimately something happens to them. Don't be that person. Watch for the behavior. And if you see it again, and it's starting to make you a little nudgy because they're a little too touchy and all of the rest of that stuff's happening in the workplace, report it to HR. You should be able to report it anonymously and leave it to them, to the professionals, to conduct an investigation. For me, this is the line that I draw. Anything touch, completely offside. You can't have it. Now, I'm not saying an accidental brush against somebody, not something intentional. Notice I use the word accidental. If somebody accidentally brushes up against your chest and touches your bits, that's probably not so accidental, right? So you want to watch for that one. That's a line. The gray space where there's that look or just that lean in a little closer or some innuendo or maybe even something not so subtle. I'd love to see what can happen after if we maybe go out for dinner or a drink tonight. That's up to you. What happens after that? My recommendation, draw the line. Tell them you want to keep your relationship professional and cordial, and you have no interest in something personal. Be clear. Don't be wishy-washy. It just gets everyone into trouble. It's toxic.